Hey everyone, Dylan here from All You Can Board, and today I am here to play Earthborne Rangers. I'm so excited about this. I have been sleeving this game, I've been scouring the rules and forums and building my starting deck and trying to not really delve into the strategy and stuff because I just want to sort of enjoy a game like this without starting to try to metagame it and try too hard to beat the game, especially when I don't know what I'm getting into and I've never played it before. But just I've been so excited by it that I've just been consuming a lot of content with it, and I really wanted to try to tackle this solo. And I thought that this would be kind of fun for people to watch and to take part in. And if everyone likes this, maybe I'll continue. Maybe I will do the entire 30-day campaign of Earthborne Rangers. No promises, we'll see. Because that would be a lot of videos and a lot of time. But if this game is that good, maybe I want to do it. And the other thing I'll mention is I've never played this before. This is my first time. The only thing I have done, I guess I kind of just lied to you. I played the prologue, but the prologue is very much just to help you sort of learn how to deck build, learn some of the nuances around that for this game. It won't really give you an idea of whether or not you like the game. I think if you really hated the gameplay in the prologue, maybe that would kind of set the tone for the rest of it, which I didn't. I really enjoyed it. But who knows, maybe 5 sessions into this game, I'm going to find out it's not for me. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I just want to preface that really I don't know what I'm getting into here. Maybe this won't be for me. Maybe it will be for me, and maybe I'll just be so horrible at this game that it's just going to be comment after comment being like, I cannot believe you did this. Why didn't you do this? But you know what? I hope you do that. This is my chance to let you know. Go into the comments. If I make mistakes, especially rules mistakes, I'd love for you to let me know. If there's different strategy things, again, knowing that I'm not taking strategy too seriously on this first kind of playthrough right now, then I would encourage you to go to the comments and just still let me know, because it's stuff that I might consider for the future, or anything that you might want to see or that you have feedback on about this series. I'd love to hear from you. All that being said, let's talk a little bit about what this is. I'm not going to be doing a full rules tutorial, so if you're coming in completely blind and you're wanting to know all the rules and how everything plays before we get started, that's not going to be happening here. But as we play, I'm going to as much as I can explain different concepts loosely. I'm not going to get into the way it's laid out in the rule book or anything like that, but I'll try to explain what it is I'm doing, why I'm doing what I'm doing, what that means, different things like that, especially for the beginning of this, until people maybe, if this goes on and say we're 3 days, 3 episodes in, maybe by that point people are starting to get a better handle of it. You don't need these reminders, but I'll do it mostly for you guys, but also for myself, because with a game this complex, not to say it's a super complex game, but there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of nuances, a lot of pieces, a lot of little rules, things you can forget. And because it's a board game, because it's not like an automated video game or something like that, I don't know sometimes if I'm making those mistakes. And so I'm sure they'll happen. I am not going to stress about them, even if it's to my advantage that I make a mistake. I just really want to enjoy this playthrough. I want it to be thematic. I want it to be engrossing. I want to feel like I'm getting into the story and into the character. And if that means that along the way I make some mistakes, I make some mistakes. And you know what? It's a first playthrough. It doesn't really matter, because at the end of the day, as long as you're having fun, as long as you're enjoying yourself, that is what matters. That's what I think anyways. So all that being said, what else can I tell you as you're looking at this table of stuff? Right now it's pretty empty, but I'm going to give you just a couple quick little understandings about the way this game works, so that you know what it is that we have laid out here. So this is my deck. This is a 31 card deck that I have already built. I won't get into the rules around how deck building works, but essentially there's specialties, there's backgrounds. You pick a background, you pick a specialty. You're allowed to choose cards from those specifically. You're also allowed to choose one card from any of the decks, as long as it doesn't have the expert trait, and that's sort of your there's a term for it, and I don't want to stop this video, go look at the term, but it's essentially you get this one extra card that's not part of your regular set, and it's the knowledge you bring. It's the hobby. I think that's what it is. I think it's a hobby. It's your specialized hobby, and it just can't be the expert trait, because thematically your hobby to something that is expert level is probably not a hobby. It's probably something it's in your background. It's something you've engaged in for a while. So that's my 31 card deck. This is my character. The reason this might look different if you've played Earthborne Rangers is this is one of the expansion mini Ranger rules. There is no difference between this card right here and I don't even know where I put it, but the original roll card. This is just a different artwork, and I just thought this artwork looked cool. It kind of fits the box art. I like it, so we're going to use this art version of the card. Just know there's no difference. The ability is the same. It's still the Exceptional Tinkerer, and you might not know what this means yet, but if you do know the rules, you will. My ability for the Exceptional Tinkerer is exhaust to spend 1 energy. These are my energies right here. To add 1 token to a tech. So if I have tech here, I can add tokens to it, which gives me more charges, more uses of that tech. I should also mention what my deck has been built with. I am a forager and an artificer. Artificer. I honestly don't know how that's pronounced, and if you have been watching videos on our channel for a while, you know that I am one of the worst pronouncers of all times. I'm pretty sure there's videos where I'm mispronouncing stuff, and you can see Carlo gritting his teeth, wanting to correct me so badly while I'm talking, and sometimes does correct me, and rightfully so, because I get stuff wrong all the time. But whatever it is, I'm a forager, artificer, or artificer, and so what that means is that I can interact with plants, with is there another word for plants? What am I trying to, flora, that's what I'm trying to think of. They call it flora in this game. So I can interact with flora, I can utilize them to my advantage, I can sometimes change things into something with the flora trait so that I can interact with them differently. And an artificer means that I have a lot of access to tech and to equipment, and I'm using different electronic machinery, tech type stuff to be able to further my goals and be able to do what I need to do. So one thing I've noticed is I forgot to add my energy here. So what I'm going to do, and you might be wondering what I'm doing, I have 1 awareness. So I'm going to back up even further. This card is one that I chose. There's all different cards with different stats that you can choose from, and they're fairly distributed so that you're strong in one thing and maybe a little bit weaker in something else. So my awareness is really low with 1, but my spirit is really high with 3. My fitness is respectable 2. And my focus is a respectable 2. So we put the energy on these cards, and as I use this energy to pay for cards, the cost will be in the top left corner of the cards. I'm taking the energy off when I rest at the end of a turn, at the end of a round, not a turn. Then I will replenish this energy, and I can constantly be using it. Okay, next, the biggest thing I'm going to tell you and probably the last bit of rules I'll tell you about is this area right here. So the way that this works is that there's different areas that we can interact with. So this whole area down here, this row, and there's a gap I've left here for equipment I might equip. This whole area is my player area. Okay, so this is mine. Rarely, I don't even know if other players will interact with it, or if you're playing multiplayer. But this is my player area. This next row right up here, this is within reach. So I don't have cards right now to show as an example. I'm just going to use the backs of these. Imagine this was a card that I drew from the, you know what, I can use a path card. This is even better. I won't flip it over, but if a path card had been revealed and it goes into the area within reach, it would go right into this row here. This means that it is close to me. Is the first line of cards that I can interact with. The next area above it, up here, is along the way. So this is like, further along like of my journey of the area that I'm in. So that if I want to interact with things along the way, I may get punished with fatigue from the cards that are in this within reach area. And what that means is that, say I'm wanting to interact with this card, I have to check this card, and whatever the number is in the top right, I'm going to be taking an amount of fatigue based on that number. And what fatigue is, if you're curious, is really cool. Fatigue is like honestly one of my favorite mechanics about this game. I just think it's such a cool thing that in practice will allow for a lot of cool strategic things, and it's a bit of a risk reward type thing. So fatigue might sound bad, and it can be bad, but it's basically a different type of discards. And you're familiar with card games. There's discards, and as you use cards, they get discarded, or people can discard your cards, whatever the case may be. Fatigue is another area that is essentially different than your discard. It's this face down sort of discard pile, and cards will continue to get added to your fatigue. If you suffer an injury, every card in your fatigue gets discarded, and you won't have access to them again this day. Every session of playing Earthborne Rangers is a day. Every round is like, a couple hours out of that day. You can get your fatigue back. And so when you see cards that say Soothe Fatigue, it will mean, like say it said Soothe 1 Fatigue, I would take the top card of my Fatigue deck and I would actually add it to my hand. So you're drawing cards, which in card games is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful ability you can do. You want to have cards, you want to have access to different things you can do. You can draw from your Fatigue stack instead of the deck, and that way prolong how long you're lasting and hopefully eliminate the Fatigue cards so that they don't get lost when you receive an injury. Why this all matters is that in a single day, a single game session of Earthborne Rangers, it will go on until I travel and decide to camp, which will end the day. You can camp when you do a travel so that you're not, basically when you start at the new location, you'll have your entire deck back, you'll start fresh, you'll have more abilities to do stuff. The other way that you can end a day is if your deck runs out. So your deck is sort of like a timer. You're getting fatigued, you're losing access to your stuff. When it runs out, the day is going to end. So you're trying to essentially, from what I understand, and I'm acting like I know everything about this game and I've not even played it yet, but from what I understand, you are trying to find a way to essentially prolong the use of your deck, whether that's from drawing from your fatigue pile, getting things back from your discard pile, being strategic in the way you utilize cards. You want to last as long as you can, get as much done in the day as you can. I think that's pretty much all I'm going to explain. There's probably other questions you have. All you need to know at a base level is that this is the area that cards are going to be placed. They're going to be coming out of the path deck. This is my deck. I'm going to have a hand of cards. I'll try to keep you informed of what's in that hand of cards or show you and let you know what my decisions are. This is the weather. We start with a perfect day, which is great. This is the location that I've already set up. We'll get it. I won't even talk about it yet because when I read the story, it'll make more sense why this is here. There will be missions that will be added here. This is a challenge deck. Think about that as your modifier. When you do tests in this game, which are one of the, I think, the most common thing you're going to be doing, when you do tests, every test will be modified by a challenge, a card, which can give it a -1, a 0, a +1, or a -2, I think. So many games have that. This is just a way to add some randomness, and so you don't know for sure exactly what you're going to get. These are my common tests. Common tests are, and in some games they'll be like common tests or things you can do, but like there's other things that you should prioritize, and these are like a last resort. That's not the case here. Your common tests, think of them as just like one action split into four different possibilities. The action is take tests, and these 4 common tests are some of the tests you can take, and they are very important. They allow you to traverse terrain, connect with different characters, draw cards, dodge cards. They're very important. I will be using them a lot, and I'll try to refer to them. You'll understand them more the more I use them and talk about them. Is there anything else I have to explain before we get started? That's my question. You know what? I think we're just gonna do it. The path deck here, basically the way this works is there's a bunch of different categories of cards in the box. And so for this one specifically, for instance, it said grab the entire woods category of cards and put them in there, mix them together with the Lone Tree Station category of cards, which I think is like 5 additional cards, because that's where we're starting. Shuffle them together, and essentially we're drawing cards from the path deck and adding them to this area, and which characters come out, which enemies come out, which locations come out will kind of dictate what we can do, where we're going to go, who we're going to talk to. And so every session will be a little bit different. So I don't know exactly what's going to come out of there. I don't know exactly how this is going to go. I know all the rules. I'll explain them as I go. We're just going to get started, and I hope you guys have as much fun watching me play this, being there along with me as I am going to have playing it. And like I said, if you like this video, if you really enjoyed this, if you want to see more, let me know, and then if everyone wants to see this continue, I'll keep going, and let's see what we can get out of this this really cool, unique game called Earthborne Rangers. Let's begin. The very first thing we need to do is I need to grab this book, as usually you can expect from any campaign game, and I need to do some reading. So I'm going to put on my best reading ability. I'm going to put on my best reading ability. Is that what I just said? I'm going to do the best I can to read this fluently and with emotion. Not really. Cresting the gentle grassy hill, you see the unmistakable silhouette of Lone Tree Station rise out of the highland plains before you. Lone Tree Station is aptly named. The single massive giga redwood towers above the hills and swaying grass that surround it. You can just make out eaves and balconies among the gnarled bark doors tucked into the winding roots and hanging gardens suspended from the branches. As you draw closer, a woman in a freshly pressed cloak steps out from the main entrance and waves. Calypsa, your mentor for the past 9 months, strides towards you with a man who looks just about your age at her heels. "Hello," she calls out. "You made it, just look at you." She clasps her hands, her smile warm and her grip firm. "I'm glad to finally have you here," she says. Then she turns. "This is Cal Ivor. I trained Cal last year, right before I started training you." Cal Ivor gives you a nod in greeting. "A pleasure," he says. Put the Lone Tree Station location into play in the surroundings. This is the surroundings. I have put it into play already. We are good to go. We are at Lone Tree Station. Calypsa heads back to the station with you and Cal in tow. She speaks back over her shoulder. "Please, make yourselves at home. Explore the hanging gardens. Find spirit speaker Nal and Cordo and strike up a conversation. Get to know the place. After you spend some time here at the station, you should head over to White Sky," she says. "In fact, High Pimpot has some juniper biscuits baking right now. His food is legendary around these parts. Once those biscuits are ready and you've had a chance to poke around, take a parcel over to White Sky and offer them to the people you meet. It's been at least a year since our neighbors have enjoyed the company of rangers bearing treats." She turns to look at Cal. "What do you think, Cal? Good way to get started?" Cal grins at you in a way that you can't quite describe as a sneer. "Handing out baked goods? I think that's perfectly suited to their abilities," he says. We gotta make a choice. We gotta make a choice because Cal's acting like a little bit of a jerk, and the choice is we can tell Cal what he can do with his condescending attitude, or we can ignore him. I'm a forager, I'm an artificer. I just became a ranger after training for 9 months with my mentor. The last thing I need is someone giving me lip just because I need to go deliver some biscuits. What's wrong with delivering biscuits? And people love biscuits. Cal probably wants biscuits. All that to say is we're gonna tell Cal what he can do with his condescending attitude. Calypsa glares. "Recall the wisdom of our ancestors," she says. "Treat each other with kindness." On kind, she punches you on the shoulder. On ness, she punches Cal. You know what? She's a little mad, but that's okay. Write "stood up to Cal" on the campaign tracker. I will write campaign tracker stuff after the fact because the benefit I have of doing it this way is I'm recording everything on video. So if I forget that I wrote something down, I can just refer to the video and write it down after. And I don't want to waste everyone's time writing stuff down. So, and most of all, the main reason I'm not doing this, I don't have a pen and I don't want to stop the video to go grab one. All right. Gain the biscuit delivery mission. All right. We are going to gain a mission. Let me grab it. Got it right here. So this is a biscuit delivery. That's not where it goes. I'm just going to put it there right now so everyone can see it. And the mission says, continuing a time-honored ranger tradition, Calypsa has tasked you with delivering biscuits to the people of White Sky as your first mission. Find High Pimpot at Lone Tree Station. He'll give you the biscuits and send you on your way. During this mission, use campaign entry 91 instead of the normal entries for High Pimpot, Cordo, Nal, and Kisi Voss. So what that means is normally those cards will have indications on them of what I should read in the campaign. It's saying that for this mission specifically, don't read what you're supposed to read 91 instead. There's a different story going on with them. Okay. It also says, travel away from Lone Tree Station while High Pimpot is in play, and I read something specific. And then this bottom part, you don't have to worry about right now, that will only come into play, same thing with what you see up here on the weather. When you draw challenge cards, we'll talk about that when I draw my first challenge card. So we're gonna put the biscuit delivery here. That is our quest. We need to deliver biscuits to White Sky. And before I keep reading, why don't I show you guys the map? This will give you guys an idea of where we are and where we have to travel to, and also just how big and beautiful this world looks. So this is the map right here. Hopefully you guys can see that. I know this might not be perfect. All we need to worry about right now is we are here. We are at Lone Tree Station. We have been told we need to go all the way down here to White Sky to deliver biscuits, but we got to get them from High Pimpot first. So we're going to be hanging around in Lone Tree Station this episode. Maybe we'll make it to White Sky too. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Okay. Location in play, biscuit delivery in play. Let's keep reading and see what happens here. Where are we? There we are. Check the campaign tracker for the weather. We did that already. Perfect day. Okay. Calypsa turns to you. Cal and I are heading out into the valley. We'll be on shadow patrol. That is, we'll never be too far away from you for the next few weeks. You shouldn't need our help, of course, Cal says. I can tell by looking at you that you're more than capable. Farewell for now, Calypsa says, and starts down the eastern path away from Lone Tree. Spirits guide you. Follow your instinct. She and Cal walk steadily out of sight. Explore Lone Tree Station and find High Pimpot. Retrieve the Juniper Biscuits and learn what to do next. Create the path deck. I've already done that for us. Place it above the surroundings. Then complete all initial setup. Okay, let's do it. Game on. Okay, so first thing we do, we flip this over and we complete the arrival setup. So this says search the path deck for the next predator and discard it. So the reason we're doing this is because we are in Lone Tree Station. So it's saying we have to deal with one less predator because of where we are, which means that things won't be as dangerous. So what we do is we just look at cards on the top. That is a prey. We look for something that says predator. That does not have it. That does not have it. We're just going to keep going until we find predator. Look how many predators. There are no predators. There's one. Okay. Prowling Woolhound. So this gets discarded. So basically that's the only arrival setup for Lone Tree Station. We discard one predator. I will shuffle this deck. There we go. And this will get discarded. And now the next part, look, I'm trying to like organize this whole setup perfectly. Beautiful. Okay, so then last thing, lead ranger, draw one path card. So we're going to see what we start this scenario or this campaign in play with. And that is going to be an overgrown thicket. And this arrow right here on the card designates whether it starts up in the on the way or down here. If it was a down arrow, it'll be in, I've got all these terms that I have to remember, within reach is below. So this has an up arrow, which means that the overgrown thicket is up here along the way. And the reason that this is problematic is it says obstacle. Obstacle means that I cannot go to Lone Tree Station and interact with Lone Tree Station, which is what I need to do to be able to travel to White Sky eventually, while this obstacle's in place. So it's not my immediate goal to travel, but I will eventually need to clear this if I want to leave Lone Tree Station. The way you leave a location is you'll see this 3R here. R stands for the amount of rangers in the game. I'm playing solo, so there's only one ranger, so it's 3 times 1. So I have to get 3 progress, which is these. There's 3, that would be a single one. I have to get 3 progress on here, and then I'm allowed to travel in step 3 of my turn, which is the travel phase. But again, can't do any of that while this obstacle's in place. So, or if I have a way to dodge the obstacle, whatever. Right now this obstacle's in play, I need to do something about it. So that's how we're starting. I need to draw my hand of cards. There's 6. Let's take a look at what we have. We've got an infusion canteen, which allows me to change energy, gain energy from in addition to what I already have here. That's a good one. These are attribute cards. You only use these for the symbol here to help you on tests. So I got one here to help with the test. This is a great card, Green Thumb. Search the path deck and discard a search the path deck and discard for a flora and put it into play with this skill attached. So I find a flora in the deck, I add this to it, and it increases the attached flora's threshold for taking damage by 2. The reason, it's essentially you're like giving flora hit points. The reason you would want to do that, especially when you look at something like overgrown thicket and you're like, why would you want to add hit points? Some flora you can like harvest, and so the more hit points it has, the more you can harvest it. So Thoroughly Prepared is a great card when a ranger would suffer 1 or more fatigue. They soothe that amount of fatigue instead. So if I can save this for a time when I'd be taking like 3 fatigue, amazing. Bold, just another attribute card. And then I've got this Static Sifter, which I love. This is a gear tool, so I would be equipping it down here if I'm able to play it. And it has a response, which means this activates when something happens. And that is after you add 1 or more harm to a flora, you may add 1 vital to this gear. It starts with 0 vital, you'll see. So you add a charge to it. So I would take one of these and I'd say, I've added a charge to this. I can exhaust this and use 1 vital from it to choose a ranger, and that ranger soothes 2 fatigue. So we've got a bunch of ways to soothe fatigue, which tells me that we shouldn't be too worried about taking fatigue right now with the starting hand we have. Okay, starting the day. path card. So the first thing we do, even though we've already drawn one path card, we're starting the next round, we have to draw a path card. So we draw a path card and we have got the Hanging Gardens. So this is a feature and a structure. So the Hanging Gardens are specific to Lone Tree Station. This is an area in Lone Tree Station that I can visit called the Hanging Gardens. So that goes right down here. If I want to go to the Hanging Gardens, I have got to, or sorry, if I want to clear the Hanging Gardens, I've got to get 4 progress tokens on it. There's also, like, it can take harm. I don't think I'm going to be harming the Hanging Gardens, but it can be harmed. And it also has this ability that is an awareness test. Every time you see these colored letters in front of something, those are the tests. You notice them down here. There's a fitness, a spirit, a focus, and an awareness test. This one is an awareness test for eat. Eat the abundant fruits in the Hanging Gardens to add 1 harm to this feature. Oh, that's how it gets harm, I guess. To this feature, soothe 3 fatigue and heal 1 injury. That's really good. But I don't have any injuries right now, so I don't know how much that'll be beneficial. That being said, the Hanging Gardens, I have to read 43, and that's not one of the ones I read something special. Nope, so we are reading 43 because the Hanging Gardens have come into play, and so we got to read a little story to find out what I can do with them, I guess. All right, Hanging Gardens. 5 meters above the ground, you step out of the doorway leading into the trunk of Lone Tree and onto the wildly swinging catwalk of boards and rope. You keep a firm grip as you make your way towards the massive boxes, each as large as a flatboat and overflowing with plants that hang from the tree's thick branches. As the wind shifts, you catch the heady aroma of blooming flowers and ripe vegetables. Cool. That's all it says. So there is nothing else special about the Hanging Gardens. I don't need to heal anything right now. I don't have fatigue yet. I don't know that I necessarily need to prioritize going through much with the Hanging Gardens. So right now, I think I mainly just want to get some stuff equipped. So we're getting to the Ranger turns. I have 3 things I can do on my turn. That is play a card, perform a test, or rest. So resting is essentially ending. So basically I have 2 things. Play a card from my hand, or perform a test. Tests can be on cards, like you see here, or they can be my common tests. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to equip some stuff. So I would really like to get my infusion canteen up and running because it allows me to gain energy from different aspects. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 1 of these focus energy, and that because this costs 1 focus, and I'm going to play my infusion canteen. I'm going to equip that. So I'm taking a little break here, strapping on my infusion canteen. And that says, when you equip this gear, choose an aspect. You may place a spare energy token here as a reminder. Gain 1 energy of the chosen aspect. I'm going to do something interesting. My lowest one is an awareness of 1, so I don't have a lot of flexibility there, and I've already revealed 2 awareness tests here. I think I'm going to actually take this and designate this as an awareness energy. I'm going to take a 3, because this has, it says right here, this has 3 sips. I have 3 sips total I can take from this canteen, so I can do it 3 times. Every exhaustion of it to do it takes 1 sip. I'm going to put this little 3 token here so I can keep track of when I use it. So infusion canteen is equipped. What else do I want to do? Is there anything else I want to equip? I think the static sifter might as well. I might as well equip that as well. So let's, my next turn, because I'm playing solo, so I can do as much as I want here. I'm going to spend 2 spirit energy, and I'm going to equip my static sifter as well. Something I should mention, a little rule thing I'll show you guys here. For equipment, you do have a limit of how much you can equip. These little square dot things here, this shows that there's like a total of 5. This one takes 2, this one takes 1. I can have a total of up to 5 squares of equipment. I can't go over that. So right now I'm at 3 out of 5. If I want to do any more equipping, I've got 2 spots left. 2 spots left. Okay, so the static sifter says after you add 1 or more harm to a flora, you can add a victual to this, and I can exhaust this to soothe fatigue, what else do I need to do here? Okay, so I need to find High Pimpot. That is our goal. To find High Pimpot, he's in this deck. I've got to search through the deck. I've got to find ways to draw path cards, and I've got to find High Pimpot. I can search the path deck for a flora, and that'll thin the deck, so I think we're going to probably do that. I don't have anything else to... Yeah, so let's just pay 1 out of awareness, and we're going to use this attachment, Green Thumb. Okay, so Green Thumb says search the path deck and discard for a flora, put it into play with this skill attached. So there's none on my discard, so I'm going to search for a flora of my choice. Let's see what we got here. Oh, Heim Pimpal was at the bottom. Jeez, or almost at the bottom. There's a Sunberry Bramble, which is a flora. The ability is to pluck, add 1 harm to this feature, soothe 2 fatigue. I mean, I have so much fatigue to be soothed. Sunberry Bramble, there's another Thicket. Okay, well, the only one that makes sense to grab then is this Sunberry Bramble, I think. I don't really want another Overgrown Thicket out there. So Sunberry Bramble gets added to within reach because it has the down arrow, and Green Thumb gets attached to it. And this means increase the attached flora's harm threshold by 2. So instead of having 2 threshold, this has a 4 threshold. So the only downside, not the only, but a downside with me having all this flora out here now is that these numbers in the top right, that's going to be what fatigues me when I need to interact with something beyond it. And so if I need to interact with the Overgrown Thicket, if I need to interact with the Lone Tree Station, I'm taking extra fatigue right now, which is not great. So I need ways to dodge that. We can do that with our common tests, or I need to find other cards in my hand that allow me to get rid of some of this stuff or interact with it in a more beneficial way. Okay, we've thinned this deck a little bit. We still need to get High Pimpot. What can we do here? I can scout ranger cards. I can traverse features. So interacting with Lone Tree Station is really good because it allows me to scout path cards equal to my effort, then draw path cards. That's going to be a good way to find High Pimpot. The problem is I'm going to be taking 3 fatigue by doing so, but I have all these ways to soothe fatigue that maybe I'm just okay with that. Like maybe that doesn't matter. Give me a second here. What are we going to do to deal with that Overgrown Thicket so that we can get to Lone Tree Station? So I think what we're going to have to do is... So we can hunt for a way through the dense foliage to add progress to this feature equal to your effort. 2 is all it needs. If I can find a way to do 2, yeah, I think that's what we got to do, because the only other option I can do... Yeah, let's just... I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to give that a shot. So, tap. It's the Magic the Gathering player in me. Exhaust the Infusion Canteen. Reduce this to 2. We are going to create an awareness energy. We are going to then interact with the Overgrown Thicket, which means we have to go through both of these, which means we're taking 2 exhausts. I'm going to do that now before I forget. 2 cards off the top to the exhaust pile. We're going to use 1 energy for this hunt, and we do have more that we can expend for it. So I'm adding Bold. Bold is an attribute card. All attribute cards are used for is to help you with tests. That's all you're using them for, as far as I know. So there's no reason for me not to do this. The icon here has to match the icon there, which it does. So I'm going to hunt with a effort of 3. Now we flip a challenge card and see how it gets modified. Plus, oh no, 0. I went +1 because I saw the red here. So this is an awareness test, which means 0 change to it, which means our effort is 3. So we add 3 progress to this feature, like so. And guess what? It only needs 2 progress to clear. So we are going to clear this obstacle, which is just great. Overgrown Thicket is gone. We no longer have that obstacle in the way. It's discarded. But you might think, oh, that's it. The challenge is done. The test is done. That's it. That is not it. So I'm going to discard Bold, and I'm going to discard this awareness. But you'll notice this little bottom section here on the challenge deck card. This symbol, which right now actually isn't going to come into play, this is how the world comes alive. I've heard that term a lot with this game, and it really is apt once you start to have a board that's full. You would basically start by looking at every card and the bottom icon in them all. In this case, it's all blue. We didn't draw the blue one. But every card that has this symbol on it is going to activate whatever the ability is. Sometimes it's going to make cards interact with each other. You might have a predator attack a prey. You might have some of your human characters do things. You might have different, like, there's so many different ways that the world can change by just drawing these cards. So every time you do a test, the world moves, the world evolves, things are happening around you while you're doing stuff, and you have to react to it. All that being said, nothing has this symbol on it for us, so this just gets discarded and nothing else happens right now. Okay, so we've got nothing in the area ahead, but we've got the Hanging Gardens and the Sunberry Bramble. So I've got a little bit of energy left. You know what, I think I could soothe some fatigue by plucking... Let's do that, because I would love to draw some cards. No, that's an awareness test. There's a lot of awareness tests, and awareness is my lowest ability here. I honestly don't have a lot more I can do. There's no beans to connect with. Well, we can remember. So we'll do the common test remember, so I can draw some cards and hopefully get some more that I can do here. So I'm going to use the focus test. I'm going to put one focus energy forward, and I'm also going to use insightful from my hand, which is the right symbol that we need for remember. And it says after you succeeded a test in which you committed this attribute, you may suffer one fatigue to add this back to your hand. Cool option. We'll see if I do that afterwards. So you scout ranger cards equal to your effort, then draw one ranger card, but we have to modify this first. So let's see how it modifies on a focus test. It modifies with 0. And we got the same symbol again. If you're wondering what this little thing is, that means that you have to, after this is done, shuffle the entire discard pile back in. And the reason that happens is so that when you draw these -2s, the -2s always stay in the deck. So you always have a chance to get a -2. Okay, so I have succeeded the test with an effort of 2, which means I'm going to scout ranger cards equal to my effort and then draw one ranger card. And after I succeeded a test, I can suffer one fatigue to add this back to my hand. I'm actually going to do that because I have so many ways to get rid of fatigue. I think I'm okay. So we'll add that back to my hand. And now we're going to scout 2 ranger cards and draw 1. So we've got the spider pad gloves, which allow me to get over obstacles. Huge. And then I've got the Ferinodex, which allows me to exhaust it to, whenever I perform an avoid test, commit an additional effort to that avoid test, which is also really, really great. I'm going to take the spider pad gloves because getting around obstacles, I mean, I wish I had the spider pad gloves for that obstacle that was out there. And then I can't remember for Scout if this goes back. I think it can go on top or at the bottom. I'm allowed to decide. And you know what? There's a second one of these in my deck. I'm going to put it at the bottom. It might be the wrong call, but I just want to be able to see more stuff. So there's a second one on my deck, but watch, it's probably in the exhaust pile, and then I'll somehow get an injury before I can draw it. Okay, so this challenge effect would come into play, but again, we don't have any out there. It's the only one I think we don't have. So nothing happens there, and that gets spent. This is great because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend my 2 fitness energy, and I'm going to equip my spider pad gloves, and I'm at full 5 equipment now, so I can't take anything else on right now. I'd have to discard something. But the spider pad gloves say, during your turn, you may treat obstacles as if they did not have the obstacle keyword. And I can also do a fitness test. Use 1 charge. It has 2 charges, which I have not put on here yet. So let's add those. I can use 1 charge to climb the obstructing terrain with the agility of a spider to move my ranger token, which just helps to illustrate where I am for some of these different things I'm interacting with in different tests, to move my ranger token onto an obstacle. So the reason this is beneficial is because there might be some obstacles that I have to get onto, I would imagine, or be on or in the obstacle, and there would be a test or something involved with that, whereas this just allows me to do this climb, and I essentially get to climb the obstacle instead. So right now it's not coming into play, but over time I think it will. The last thing I can do, as I've got 1 spirit energy left, you know what? I am going to... Do I want to do that? No, I'm not going to do that yet. I think it could be worse. I think I'm just going to rest because there's no one to connect with. I don't want to do these awareness tests. Yeah, we are going to rest. So when we rest, this is sort of like the upkeep part when everything. And I should clarify. When we rest, normally we would go to a travel phase after this. We're not going to travel yet. We're not done here at Laundry Station, so we're going to skip over that and go right to the refresh phase. But we are going to rest. And then we go into the refresh phase. So we are going to ready all our cards. There's no other cards here to ready. This has got to get shuffled back in. I should have done that before. So the challenge deck is going to be refreshed, like so. Let's see how well I can shuffle this in a pinch. Shuffling sleeved cards is so much easier. Okay, that's good. We need to replenish our energy. And just so you know, if you were ever over your energy amount, say I had like 2 awareness at this point, you have to discard down. You don't get to keep it. You have to go right to the numbers that are listed there. So we are all back up. And draw 1 Ranger card. We drew another Infusion Canteen, which obviously we wouldn't equip, but we can use the Infusion Canteen for the symbols, and it's got a couple good symbols. Okay, on to the next day. We draw a Path card. Oh. Okay, guys, we've drawn the Caustic Mulcher. So this is really bad. This Caustic Mulcher is really scary. It's got all these weird arm things. So what it says is beings that are attached to this biomeld, which is the type of creature it is, do not ready. While your Ranger token is on it, you cannot travel, and the Ranger token on this biomeld cannot be moved, except with the following test, which is to try to wrest them free from the Mulcher's grasp to exhaust this biomeld. And the way he grabs people with his arms and flails them about is if the sun comes up from the challenge deck, it says if there is another active being, exhaust it and attach it to this biomeld. If not, move your Ranger token to this biomeld. This is bad. The Caustic Mulcher not only grabs like us, the Caustic Mulcher can grab like High Pimpot, who we're looking for if the being happens to be out and active at that time. So that's the worst card probably in the deck. That's my guess. And I don't know that we're going to have a really good way to deal with it. So we're probably going to be having to do a lot of avoiding to exhaust it and just hope for the best. Wow, really unlucky. Okay, Ranger turns. I can play cards or I can perform a test. I thought I was going to be able to get to Lone Tree Station, and now this Caustic Mulcher has shown up. How am I going to deal with this Mulcher? I think I just have to avoid it using the common test, because there's no way I'm going to be able to deal 6 damage, 6 harm to it. And 9 progress seems insane right now. I don't know how I would do that as well. It's not a Flora, which is too bad. It's not an obstacle. Yeah, we're going to have to just avoid it. And unfortunately, we've got these 2 things here as well. Okay, first thing we're going to do, maybe we won't avoid it yet. We are going to exhaust the Infusion Canteen to go to 1. And we are going to add another awareness energy because I think I'm going to need it. And then we are going to do this test here on the Sunberry Bramble. So I'm gonna go into the within my reach into the valley here around Lone Tree Station, and I'm going to try to pluck the thorn-ringed fruit from the Sunberry Bramble. And I'm a flora expert, a forager, some would say. And so this should be no problem for me. It's a test of 2. I'm going to commit 1 energy and the canteen, I guess, like so, for a second, because it has the right symbol, and I need to get 2 to succeed, which means I have to draw a 0 or a positive. If I draw a negative of any kind, I'm going to fail. And it says this will add 1 harm to the feature and soothe 2 of my fatigue. If I fail, this feature fatigues me. The reason I'm hesitant to give more energy to this, more effort, is because I want to have some left over for me to interact with Lone Tree, or sorry, for me to use the avoid to exhaust. I just don't have enough. Maybe I shouldn't pluck this Sunberry Bramble. You know what? I'm taking this back. Here's what we're going to do. I'm just going to try to avoid the Caustic Mulcher. So I have to be able to get 3, so I'm going to use 2 energy, and I'm going to use my Insightful And I'm going to use my infusion canteen. This might be bad, but this mulcher is a problem. So basically what I'm doing is I'm using the avoid common test. This is to exhaust one being and avoid them. So if something is exhausted, it means that it will not deal me fatigue when I interact with something beyond it. So right now, if I were to go interact with the Lone Tree Station, I'm taking an additional 3 fatigue from the caustic mulcher from how much it tires me out to avoid and get around the caustic mulcher to be able to get to Lone Tree Station. If I use this avoid common test and exhaust it, it's exhausted and I'm able to get past it without a notice. Maybe it's sleeping, maybe it's injured, maybe it's distracted, whatever the case may be, I need to avoid it. So I'm gonna do a test of 4 on this avoid. There are 2 cards in between it, which means I gotta take 2 exhausts. I'm really hoping that I can soothe all this back. And we're doing a test of 4. So we have to get 3 to succeed. Let's see what we do. -1, 3 exactly. Okay, I'm really glad I committed the second one. I was worried that this was gonna be overkill, but it ended up being perfect. We keep getting this symbol. Okay, so the test is successful. This goes back to my hand. If I want, I can suffer 1 fatigue to put it back to my hand. I'm going to do that. These go away. This canteen gets discarded. I have successfully avoided the caustic mulcher, so I can exhaust it. Was this even... I don't even know if this made sense. I've done all this now. I don't even have any energy. You know what? We'll figure it out. This effect now happens. It does not happen on exhausted cards, only on active cards. So this doesn't actually do anything. This gets discarded. We have exhausted the caustic mulcher. But now what? I don't have any awareness energy. I am in a pickle here, aren't I? I am going to... I just need to find high pin pot, okay? I just need to find high pin pot. How can we get into that path deck? Okay, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to exhaust my Exceptional Tinkerer card to use my, my roll ability, which is spend 1 energy to add 1 token to attack. I'm going to spend 1 energy to add a token to the Static Sifter. So I put some Vittle on it. Then I'm going to exhaust this Static Sifter to use that Vittle. Choose a ranger. That ranger soothes 2 fatigue. So I'm drawing 2 cards off the top of my fatigue. I've got Trail Markers and Magnanimous. That's not what I was hoping to see. I mean, it's better than nothing. It's great to draw cards out of my fatigue, don't get me wrong, but I was hoping for something else. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to traverse. So traverse is essentially me trying to make my way around Lone Tree Station to be able to have progress to Lone Tree Station, so when the time comes and I want to travel, I'm allowed to travel. It needs 3 progress. I'm going to do a fitness test using 2 of my fitness to traverse. It's a common test. And it says, traverse X, the nearby terrain, to add progress to a location or feature equal to your effort. If you fail, suffer 1 energy. X is equal to the number that's on the card. In this case, it's 1, so I need a 1 to succeed. And however much effort I put forward is what I'm going to be able to put on there. So right now I am putting forward 2. Do I want to add any more? You know what? No, I don't. It's not dire that I complete it right now. Let's just go forward with a 2. Let's keep it simple. And let's modify it. -1. Damn. Okay. So we lose 1 of these. We lose both, but we are going to add 1 progress to Lone Tree Station. We get 2 fatigue because of having to overcome both of those, like so. And then we finally have a new symbol. It's the mountain symbol, and that is going to activate a lot. So starting here, if this test added progress, add an additional progress. So it's a perfect day. We added more progress to Lone Tree Station. So we have 2 out of the 3 required now, which is great. Next up, we have to go to the Hanging Gardens. If there is an active human, exhaust them. There is no active human, we can't do it. If there's an active prey, there is no active prey. So nothing happens on those, and I believe that's it. This gets discarded. Okay, well, we've added some progress. We can draw more cards. I still don't really have a good way to use this search ability. There's nothing to connect with. There's no other good way to draw from that. Jeez. All right, we're going to do a remember test. We're going to use 2. And we are going to scout ranger cards equal to your effort. We have to use a challenge card first. -2. So we have a 0. We failed the test. That's just great. No, do we still get to draw the card? To scout ranger card equal to your effort, then draw a card? No, because it's 1 and I failed, so I don't get to draw the card. At least I don't think. It would be weird if I could fail and still get to draw the card. So that was awful. And I've got these 2 spirit energy left and not really much to do with it. So I think we're just going to rest for the day, which unfortunately is going to ready the mulcher. And we're going to have to find another way to exhaust it, but such is life. Okay, so we are going to rest, which means we're not going to travel, so we go into the refresh phase. So we're going to ready all the cards, which unfortunately means this mulcher as well. And then we're going to draw a card, hopefully something good. Familiar ground, add 1 harm to a floor to add 3 progress to a trail. We don't have any trails in play right now, which is too bad. And then we go to path cards. Come on, hi Pimpot, let's just get you out here. Nope, that is a prowling wolfhound. That's a predator. Oh boy, this is just turning out to be problematic. This is the problem with playing solo. I have to deal with all this stuff myself, and I'm just a humble forager. Like, what am I supposed to do with a prowling wolfhound? Okay. How on earth am I supposed to deal with all this to get to Lone Tree Station and search that path deck? I guess I should replenish all my stuff here first. Wow, having 1 awareness is really hurting me here. But I think we can do some stuff. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is I'm going to exhaust this to be able to spend an energy. I'm going to spend a spirit to add a token to one of my tech. And I'm going to add a token to the infusion canteen so that I can have more uses out of it. Then, do I want to try to pick this sunberry bramble? I would take so much fatigue if I interacted with Lone Tree Station right now. You know what? I think it just has to be done. There could be a better way to do this, but I am getting draws here that keep adding more and more stuff that is slowing me down. This caustic mulcher is a huge problem. I am going to, this is going to be, yikes. I am going to interact and search Lone Tree Station. There's no obstacle, so I can, but I'm going to take a lot of fatigue. I'm going to take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 fatigue. So 7 cards off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh my god, this game's almost done. Put them in here. I've got to start drawing from my fatigue deck. This is really, really bad. But I was able to essentially go past all these, but I take a bunch of fatigue doing so, and now I'm going to do this search. And for the search, I'm going to use this. I'm going to exhaust this to gain a second one. I should have done that beforehand, to be fair. But I am going to use 2. And do I want to add anything else? I think we should, just to be safe if we can. Yeah, let's do magnanimous. We won't do the suffering of fatigue. So we're doing 3 effort total. We have to shuffle this. I forgot to do that. And then we're going to draw one. And basically what we're hoping for here is that we can get as high a number as possible so that in the cards that we scout, we can find high Pimpot. I feel like that's the only way we're going to get through this scenario. Otherwise, this is going to be a loss. I'm going to have to, like, I lose scenario 1. We're going to have to try again. All I'm trying to do is deliver biscuits, and I haven't even picked up the biscuits yet. This game's hard. Okay. It's hard playing solo as a forager, at least. Okay, let's see. 0. That's great. So 3 effort is the total. These can go. We have 3 effort. And that means that we get to scout 3 cards and draw 1. We've got a Sitka Buck, we've got a Sitka Buck, we've got a Sunberry Bramble. Where are the people I need to interact with? I guess I have to draw one? I don't really want any of them. Yeah, I'll draw the Sitka Buck and add him here. And we'll put these 2 on the bottom. I mean, we're thinning through it, but... okay, Sitka Buck is in play, and now a bunch of stuff is going to happen because we've got a lot going on here. So this activates. If this test added progress, it did not, so that doesn't happen. Now we go down here to the Hanging Gardens. If there is an active human, there is not. Sunberry Bramble. If there is an active prey, which there is, exhaust it, add progress to it, which we will do here, and harm, add progress to it and harm to this feature right here, both equal to that prey's presence, which is 1. So there we go. Nothing happens on this one, and then this one says, no, because now we've exhausted it, so now this doesn't take place. It's not active. Okay, that's it. All right, so I just thematically, I think what happened is the Sitka Buck came in here, ate some of the Sunberry Brambles, got sick. No, got happy, got full off, it got progress, and then the Sunberry Bramble took a harm because it has 1 less Sunberry Bramble. One less Bramble on the Sunberry. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Okay, back to me trying to figure out what to do here. That really didn't work out because this gets discarded and I still don't have any humans or anything else I can interact with, and I just took a bunch of fatigue. This is going really poorly. What can I possibly do? I need to soothe fatigue, don't I? I just don't even know how to soothe any fatigue off right now, because to do it, I need to do these awareness tests, and I just don't have enough awareness. I feel like I should have taken an identity card, an aspect card that had 2 awareness. I took one that had 2 focus instead. Okay. Oh, and I didn't remove one of these before. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pay 1 fitness to play trail markers attached to a location or a feature. We are going to attach this to here. Yeah. Like so. And what this says is attached to a location or a feature, the attached card gains the trail trait. So I have things that interact with trails. Hanging Guard now becomes a trail because it's got trail markers on it. So it's become a trail. The response on it is when 1 or more progress is added to the attached trail, increase the number of progress added by 1. So the reason I'm doing this is because if we add progress to the Hanging Gardens, we can clear it. It gets it out of here. I thought about doing that on the Sunberry Bramble, which maybe that's what I should have done, but I don't know. I got to get rid of both. They both affect me the same way in terms of the number up here. And then what I can do is spend 1 more for Familiar Ground, add 1 harm to a flora. So we'll do another harm one here. This normally would get rid of it because of Green Thumb. It has 2 additional threshold, which in this case is actually kind of hurting me. And then we can add 3 progress to a trail. And I'm going to add 3 progress to this, but it says response when 1 or more progress is added, increase it by 1, which adds an additional progress, and that is 4 progress. It has a threshold of 4, so that actually clears this, which means this is gone, this is gone, this is gone, this is discarded. I've successfully cleared 1 thing within reach. I still got to find High Pin Pot. But now I think I've just got to do this remember test again. So we'll do an effort of 2. We'll modify it. We're trying to draw cards here. Plus 1, which means an effort of 3. Scout Ranger cards equal to your effort, then draw 1 Ranger card. So we are going to scout 3. There's barely any cards in this deck. Looking for something I can use. Let's take the carbon forged trowel. Put these ones on the bottom. Okay, that might be useful. We'll see. This is gone. This is going to get shuffled, but we have the sun, so nothing happens here. Then we go to biscuit delivery. If Kisi Voss is not in the path discard, which they're not, she's drawn by baked goods. Search the valley set for Kisi and put her into play. Okay, well, let's go get Kisi. Where are they? Right here. Kisi Voss, rascal. So they get added right here. Within reach. Fatiguing, friendly, and persistent. And we have to read, those are the keywords I was just listing. And we have to read section 91 because it says here for Kisi Voss, during this mission we read 91 instead. And that says, enters play, Kisi Voss, rascal. You feel a tug on your backpack and turn to see a young girl suddenly walking beside you. Hi, she says. Do you smell something? Is High Pimpot baking his famous juniper biscuits? Can I have one? Which way to the kitchen? Clear Kisi with progress to help her find the kitchen. Okay, she needs 3 progress. There is a fatiguing trait on her, which is the only one I don't remember what fatiguing is. So let's look that up quickly. Fatiguing is when you rest, if this card is ready and is in your player area within reach or along the way, you suffer fatigue equal to its presence. So Kisi is going to keep tiring us out with fatigue by how quick and often they talk, unless we clear them. And we have barely any deck left. Okay, I can also interact to ask Kisi about her adventures in the valley and at progress this being equal to effort, then exhaust this being and read. So I need to clear with progress. Is there anything in my hand I can... Well, no, hang on. I have a really good means of doing that, I think. Well, no, I only have 2 for the connect test. I think we're still going to do it, though. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Okay. This gets shuffled, by the way. Oh, wait. Hang on. We have a lot more to do. What am I talking about? Okay, so Kisi Voss has been added. But now it says discard either 1 progress or 1 token from a flora, insect, or gear. Well, I guess I'll discard one of these. I don't really want to do that. Ready another prowling woolhound, and this is exhausted, so nothing happens. Okay, we're actually fine. If there's another active being exhausted and attached to this biomeld. Oh no, this is just disaster. So I believe that means the Caustic Mulcher grabs Kisi Voss, because it doesn't say that it has to be in the same area, which means Kisi Voss it gets exhausted and attached to this Caustic Mulcher because it's grabbed Kisi. She came over to find some baked goods, and this fucking Caustic Mulcher just ruined her day. Okay, that's a problem. I can't add progress to her. This is just turned into a disaster of a day 1. Holy smokes. Let's see what I can do here. Okay. If there's another active being, yeah, okay, that's so I have to rest her free, but I can't because I have no fitness. So I'm going to have to probably rest. That's going to be the main thing I'm doing here. There's no one else to connect with. I can't play that. Yep, we're resting. Okay, everything readies as part of the refresh step because we're not traveling. I don't even know if Kisi Voss readies on there. I don't know if it matters or not. It's not like I can connect with Kisi Voss while she's being flipped around by a Caustic Mulcher. This gets shuffled. And I draw one ranger card and one path card. My deck is very low, but maybe I can find a way to find high pim pod in time. Draw one card, loose leaf tea kit. I can do damage to flora to add herbs, and that herbs gives me one energy of any type. That's really good. It's a little late, and we draw a path card. Topside mast. That goes up here. This is an area that we can travel to, and we have to read something from the book to explain what topside mast is to us. It says, high atop Lone Tree Station, you'll find a series of circular platforms of polished wood and forged carbon. During your training on clear windless days, these platforms served as a refuge. You would often spend your free time in the afternoons bathing there in the sun, sitting in quiet contemplation, and looking out over the mirrored surface of White Sky Lake. You'd also look wistfully at the airship known as Swift, its hull gleaming in the sun as Ben Amon would climb aboard and launch it into the air. The legs of the vehicle would compress and then extend with sudden movement, propelling it upwards with tremendous force. Then once it reached its apex, its wings would unfurl and the glider would soundlessly soar toward the horizon, steadily descending as it flew toward its destination. Calypso told you and the other initiates that it was prone to roll and crash in inclement weather, and if you flew it any great distance, its energy cells would drain and the Swift would grow inert, unable to launch for days before the cells recharged. All this was clearly meant to dissuade you from taking the Swift out on your own, but when you look at the airship, you can't help but feel a surge of excitement. To soar high above the valley would surely be exhilarating, if not a little terrifying. Now that you're a full-fledged ranger, perhaps you can convince the crew to take you for a ride. Clear topside mast with your ranger token to take Swift for a ride. As much as I would love to go and take a ride on an airship, I feel like that's something we would do when we're traveling, when we want to go somewhere. And we got a caustic mulch on the ground. We haven't found these biscuits. We've got Kesey Voss in trouble. I don't even know if we can deal with this right now, unfortunately, because it seems really cool. I'd love to go take that airship. So I think we're just going to ignore that completely, especially because it has 0 value there. So we're not going to take any extra fatigue. The problem here, which I guess I can replenish this now. The problem here, there's lots of problems with how this day worked out. I'm probably gonna have to try this again to get this right. The problem here is that there's so much I have to get through and so little ways I can effectively deal with it. I have to exhaust a bunch of this stuff so that I can get to Lone Tree Station, but there's just so much. And it's mainly the caustic mulcher that is a problem. I need to find a way to exhaust that, which right now I only can do that with avoiding. So I think what we need to do, we need to exhaust this to gain 1 energy of the chosen aspect. That means it has no tokens left and we gain our awareness, which is what we designated with it. So we have about 2 awareness now. Now we're going to spend 2 focus. We're going to discard our infusion canteen because it's empty. We're going to play the loose leaf tea kit. After you add 1 or more harm to a flora, add an herb to this. Choose a ranger. That ranger gains 1 energy of any type. I'm going to spend 1 energy with this. No, hang on. Before we do that, let's think. Yeah, no, we're going to do that. Spend 1 energy, like so, to add a token to this. That's the ability. Spend 1 energy to add a token to 1 tech. Oh, that's not tech. God damn it. Oh, that would have been too good. That would have been too good. Can't do that. Who knew tea is not tech? Why can't we have tech tea? Okay. So I think I might have made that mistake before. You know what? If I made that mistake, I'm doing bad anyways. I am not going to play the loose leaf tea kit. That doesn't make sense then. What I'm going to do is pay the 2 here and play my carbon forged trowel. Might as well. It lets me deal damage or discard harm from flora. And I can also add harm to beings, like the caustic mulcher, but I have to add 6, which is just too much. I guess we're going to do... Okay, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to just go for this. We're going to do an avoid test, and we're going to try to avoid the caustic mulcher. We're going to put 1 forward, 2, 3. This feels bad, man. If the challenge is a minus, I think we lose. Plus. Okay, so that's 4, which means we have successfully exhausted the mulcher. Perfect. That won't hurt us. Okay, so I'm thinking, because I'm pretty sure I just cannot do anything. I think this is just a disaster. So so we have to do the challenge effect here. This does nothing. There's no other ones here. If there's an active prey, which there is, exhaust it, add a progress to it, and a harm here. We've done that before. And this does nothing. This gets discarded. Okay. So now, with that being exhausted, we'd have to take 3 fatigue to get here. We have 4 cards in our deck. Oh, no, we're good. We got this. Check this out. Okay, I finally am going to do a good play. I think I'm finally going to do a good play. We are going to go search for a high pin pot. We're going to search this, and we're going to do an effort of 1. Just 1, which is kind of scary. But along the way, we're going to take 3 fatigue. 3 fatigue to get there. But I'm going to pay 1 spirit, and in response, I'm going to play Thoroughly Prepared, which is when a ranger would suffer 1 or more fatigue, they soothe that amount of fatigue instead, which means I draw 3 cards from my fatigue pile. Okay, this is something. This is something. Oh, and I drew an amazing card now. Okay, now we're doing an effort of 1, which is not great. We're probably going to fail this, but let's see. Yeah, we failed. Damn. Okay, this doesn't add anything. This is already exhausted. Nothing else takes effect. Okay, so we failed because the reason we failed, if you're curious, is whenever a number is not listed on the test, it's a value of 1. And we put 1 effort forward, we got a -1, that's 0. We do not pass, which is not great. And I feel stuck again. I think what we need to do is we are going to do this test. We're going to tend. Okay, we're going to tend to the local plants, which is the sunberry bramble, to add or discard harm from a floor equal to your effort. We're going to put forward 1 effort. Is that all I can actually put forward? It is just 1 effort. That's not even worth it then. Oh boy. Okay. Let's see if this works. We're going to use this test, and we're going to try to tend to the sunberry bramble. I want to tend to it, get rid of it, hopefully. But we have to do a challenge here. Let's see what we draw. Hey, a 0. We didn't fail. Which means we only add 1 harm to it, because it's equal to your effort. However, this says after you add 1 or more harm to a flora, add 1 victual to the gear. So we add a victual there, which is great. This then activates. Get rid of this. Nothing on any of these. If you have 3 or more fatigue, which I do, I have lots of fatigue, exhaust this bean and suffer an injury. Ooh. Okay, this is horrible because I get an injury, and in this game, when you get an injury, you discard your entire fatigue pile, which is this entire fatigue pile, gone. Just like that. So we can't draw from it anymore. I can't soothe fatigue, and I've got 4 cards left in my deck. I don't know how this is going to go, guys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a high pin pot in time. But we're certainly going to try. Okay. All this is exhausted now. This would be a great time for me to go search again. I just don't have a way to do an awareness test because I don't have any energy. Oh, and I can't even, the reason I did all this is so that I could take this off the sifter and soothe to fatigue. Now my fatigue's gone. This is, yeah, I don't think there's anything I can do here. I think this day is going to be a failure. I tried, but I just don't know what else to do to overcome this. I guess I'm resting. Next turn, we're going to find high pimp on, I'm pretty sure, because I have a good card in my hand, but we're resting and refreshing, which means I get my awareness back. I get my spirit back. Like so, and then I get my fitness back. And I draw a ranger card. Whoops. Let's draw 2 there. Another trail markers. And I draw a path card. Oh boy. Look who decided to show up. It's High Pimpot. Okay, well. High Pimpot. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Oh no, that was exhausted. No, it doesn't matter. Okay, I have to take advantage of High Pimpot being here as quickly as possible. This is the last way I can salvage this day. So thematically what's happened is I've been searching Lone Tree Station for High Pimpot, and I have not been able to find him. I've encountered a Sitka buck. I've been attacked by a prowling woolhound. I've tried to clear the sunberry bramble. I have met Kesey Voss and then watched Kesey Voss get picked up by a caustic mulcher. I found the topside mass, but I just have no reason to go there right now. So really right now, I just need to deal with High Pimpot and get this quest as far along as I can, given the state of affairs here. So High Pimpot, when he comes into play, we read 91. Let's see what Mr. Pimpot has to say. Hopefully something valuable for us. Okay. You come across a massive pile of diced and sliced vegetables, roots, and tubers. Occasionally, more slices fly through the air to land on top of the pile. Back already, a voice says from beyond the vegetable pile. I told you there's no silver fin curry to be had until the fish is marinated for at least 3 hours. A head pokes out from behind the pile. Oh, it's you. I thought you were Elder Thrush. She gets so impatient on silver fin curry day. Calypso sent you for the biscuits, eh? They're just out of the oven. Let me know when you're ready to leave, and we'll get you and those biscuits to the good people of White Skies straight away. Travel from Lone Tree Station while High Pimpot is in play to continue the mission. Okay, I have got 3 cards left in my deck, which means this day is going to end if I draw those 3 cards. High Pimpot is in play. I have to travel while he's in play to White Sky. And I have a couple ways I can do that. I can add progress onto Lone Tree Station. I need 1 more progress. Oh, I just added 1 more before. But for me to do that, I've got to circumvent everything that's in the way. Not High Pimpot because he's friendly, but the rest. And that's not going to be easy. That's not going to be easy at all. Another thing I can do, though, is I can try to visit Topside Mast, where we heard that I can maybe convince the crew to give me a ride. Maybe the crew will let me go for a ride and they'll just drop me off at White Sky. I don't know if that's possible. I just know that I don't know what else I could possibly do at this point. So I think we've got to give that a shot. So even if I'm interacting with this, I would still take 3 fatigue, which would be the end of my deck. Can I exhaust the Prowling Woolhound somehow? So the Prowling Woolhound does want to hunt the Sitka buck. So all these abilities on the Sitka buck say, if we draw a mountain, for instance, it says if there's an active predator, which there is, it's the Woolhound, exhaust it and add 2 harm to it, then add 1 harm to this beam equal to that predator's presence. So we could exhaust the Prowling Woolhound that way, but for that to happen, we have to just do another test and hope that we draw a mountain off the top, which is not ideal. Alternatively, I don't know that there's an alternatively. I think we're gonna have to try to get into topside mast. And we got to get through this Sitka buck and prowling wolfhound. Okay. Here's what we're gonna try. Oy, 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 oy. First thing I'm gonna try to do is clear this sunberry bramble. That is an additional point of fatigue I don't want to take and I think I can get rid of. So I'm gonna do this tend option because this tend might interact here. So we are gonna tend and I'm gonna do a tend of 2 because the only way I get screwed here is if I draw -2. Okay, am I supposed to shuffle this? No. So if I draw -2, I'm pretty sure this day is going to end really badly. It's already gone pretty poorly. As long as I get at worst the -1, I'll succeed. I'll add a harm to this with the tend action, and then this will clear, which will be great. So test of 2. Please, on the spirit number, don't be a -2. +1. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, I think this actually worked out really well. I think we might be okay. Okay, so we have 3 total, which says for tend, you would add a 3 harm to a flora equal to your effort. That is going to put this over the threshold because the threshold of green thumb is 4, which means that we have successfully cleared this annoying sunberry bramble. Green thumb comes off. Sunberry bramble is discarded. It's out of the way. We're down to just these here in play. And now we do this. So if this test added progress, it did not. Nothing else over here. But then we come to the Sitka buck, and it says, if there's an active predator, exhaust it, add 2 harm to it, which means it basically took some harm while hunting the Sitka buck, and then add harm to this bean equal to the predator's presence, which is 2. So 2 like that. So what this means is now we won't take the 2 fatigue. This is friendly, so we won't take the 2 fatigue. This isn't past the topside mast, so we don't have to take fatigue from it. So we're only taking 1 fatigue in order to interact with topside mast. I think this is our only shot. I think this is our one shot to try and salvage this day. Is I need to convince the Swift's crew the urgency of my mission to move my ranger token onto this feature and then try to get an airship ride to White Sky. And hopefully that's enough, because everything else has been a disaster. Okay, we are going to interact here, which means we're taking 1 fatigue. Just like that, we're down to 2 cards in our deck. We have to convince with a success of 3. So we are going to play 1 and 2 effort, and then I'm going to also commit another one. And it says, before you commit this attribute, you may suffer 1 fatigue. If you do, this attribute gains an additional heart. And I wish I knew the names of these. You know what? Let's look them up. Let's make sure I get these right. They are heart is connection. And the other one that we're looking at there is conflict. And there's also exploration and reason. Okay, so conflict and compassion. Do I want to suffer 1 fatigue? Are you down to 1 card? How close? Like, to complete this mission, travel away from Lone Tree Station while High Pimp Out is in play. Like, what do I have to lose? It'd be worse. Yeah, let's do it. We're going to take 1 fatigue. We're down to 1 card in our deck to give an additional compassion, which means we have 4 effort total for this convince. We have to succeed with a 3. If it's less than if it's worse than a -1, we don't succeed. Whew. Please, please, come on. 0, thank goodness. Okay, so we succeed. I didn't even have to use that extra card. We've succeeded in convincing them, which is fantastic. Magnanimous is gone. Okay, so we move this to the feature. That means our ranger is in topside mast. We have cleared. So this clear condition says we have to get our ranger token onto topside mast, essentially get like a traverse topside mast to clear it. Then we can read what happens. So honestly, I am just hoping I can somehow use this cruise airship to get where I need to go. Topside mast. Enters play. Well, we did the enters play. It's the clear condition. Here we go. You climb aboard as Ben Amon himself emerges from the hangar and hops into the pilot seat. Strap in, he says, lowering a pair of goggles over his eyes. I heard you made quite the case to the crew. Honestly, though, he says with a smile, I never need much of an excuse to take the Swift out for a walk. There's nothing in this world like flying. You'll see. With that, Ben Eamon flips a series of switches and you feel the Swift come to life. You may immediately proceed to the travel phase of the round. If you do, you can travel to any location within 3 paths, even if there are ready cards with the obstacle keyword in play. Use the terrain type of the last path you crossed over. That's just for the path deck setup. If you choose to travel this way, discard the current challenge card and do not resolve the remainder of this test. Okay, well, we have to. We have 1 card left in our deck. I'm pretty sure this is I think we might have just found the only way we're going to win this, or succeed, not win, to succeed on this day. So this no longer happens, it says, but we can immediately travel anywhere within 3. And if we open our map and take a look, White Sky is within 1, and it uses this water terrain. It says to use the last terrain, or no, I think we're supposed to use the forest for the next one. So I'll worry about that when I get there. That being said, it says as soon as you travel away from Lone Tree Station while High Pimpot is in play, we're gonna have to read something. So just to make sure I do this all right, this is the first time I'm traveling. Let me just read the travel section and make sure I'm doing everything correct. And then we'll read and see if I actually found a way to overcome this day. Clear the play area. Discard all path cards in play and all ranger cards within reach. Okay, all path cards in play. That is, well, hang on. You know what? Because High Pimpot's in play, and we have to, let's just read this thing first. I just feel like this makes more sense. Okay, let's find out what happens when we travel away with High Pimpot. Here we go. High Pimpot places the last juniper biscuit into the basket and hands it to you. There's no better way to begin a friendship than with a freshly baked biscuit. The people of White Sky just love meeting you Rangers. They always come bearing treats. High Pimpot winks and takes a biscuit for himself. You shoulder the basket. As you do, the enticing aroma of the biscuits wafts up from the basket. You remember that you haven't eaten anything since breakfast. Your stomach growls. Surely they won't miss 1 or 2. Flip the biscuit delivery mission to the biscuit basket side. Oh, is this? Oh, okay. Then choose a ranger to equip it. Oh, okay. Well, I don't have I guess I'm going to have to discard something to be able to equip my basket. I think that's going to have to be, damn it, that's going to have to be the trowel, I think. So what does this do? It says a spirit test to give a biscuit to move 1 biscuit to a human that does not have a biscuit on them and add 4 progress to them. So giving people biscuits adds 4 progress to them. So basically you share treats and you can get a whole bunch of progress with them to learn more about them. Or you can sneak a biscuit for yourself to soothe 3 fatigue and move 1 biscuit to your roll. When you have 0 biscuits on this gear, we read more. Okay, well, the trowel's gonna have to go. We're equipping the biscuit basket. This goes to the discard. We have 1 card left in our deck, 2 fatigue. Is there anything else we have to read right now? I don't think so. I just wanna make sure I didn't miss anything. That's it. Okay. Well, I completed the mission. I completed the mission, and not only that, but when you travel, you have the option to camp. And let me tell you, with 1 card left in my deck, I have to camp. If you go to draw and there's no cards in your deck, that's the end of the day. We almost didn't complete the 1 mission we had, which is just pick up a basket of biscuits. That's what we had trouble with. To pick up a basket of biscuits, that's a tongue twister. To pick up a basket of biscuits, we had to deal with a caustic mulcher who kidnapped a child in front of us, and we did absolutely nothing about it. We instead went to Topside Mass and hitched a ride on an airship, which was we were not going to travel. The caustic mulcher was blocking everything. If it wasn't for Topside Mass coming out and for us being able to convince that crew, we were not getting out of this. And we were able to draw the right card that exhausted the Prowling Wolfhound. Everything kind of worked out at the end, but oh my God. Okay, so that is the end of the day. So let's make sure we're camping appropriately before we end this session. Oh, that's the wrong book. Make sure I'm doing everything correctly since this is my first time. Okay, we are traveling, right? Yes. Travel to a new location. As a group, choose the location to which you would like to travel by consulting the valley map. We're going to White Sky. And and then we assemble the path deck after we've decided whether or not we want to camp. And we are going to camp. So after choosing your location, you can decide to camp. And that would bring the day to an end. And we are, yeah, that's it. Okay, so we're ending the day. What ending the day means is that ends your play session. A day in Earthborne Rangers is a play session, and there are like 30 days, I believe, over the course of the campaign. Each day, every like time you saw me doing a round, that's essentially like as about an hour or two passed by, and we have successfully completed the day. So I could keep going. I could keep going to White Sky, and we could deliver these biscuits and everything. But I just feel like this is a natural place to end. We try to do it a day an episode, unless the day goes really poorly or fails or is really short. So if you want to see more, if you want to see me deliver these biscuits. I know what this sounds like. Oh, do I want to go see Dylan deliver some biscuits? This will get probably way more exciting than just biscuit delivery. Okay, we're talking. This is entry level. I just became a ranger. There's time for this to get a little bit more higher stakes than just biscuit delivery. But all that to be said, biscuits look pretty good to me. We are going to be delivering those next episode. If you guys want to see more, to White Sky, and hopefully find better ways to deal with something like a caustic mulcher, so that the next time this comes up, we can do something. And the caustic mulcher's got a hold of Kisi Voss. I don't know if that's a bad thing. I don't know if there's anything I should have done there, but you know what? Let's just pretend it didn't happen, because I got out of this alive, and that's what matters. Thank you guys so much for watching. I am not going to set up, like I said, White Sky right now, but if you want to see more, let me know in the comments. Also, if you notice any mistakes I did, especially if there are big ones, let me know. Again, I'm here to have fun. I just want this to be an enjoyable time for me, an enjoyable time for you. I'm not going to try to undo a whole bunch of stuff, but if you notice any mistakes, let me know, because then I can avoid doing those mistakes again in the future. Or if you have any comments whatsoever, just let me know. I tried to create a little bit of a thematic vibe here. This is something I didn't really stress too much at the beginning, but when I play these solo games, I feel like the board games in general, the biggest challenge they have as solo activities is that when it comes to board games, movies, TV shows, video games, books, I feel like board games are the one that have the hardest time getting you immersed in the theme. We're so used to it being like mechanics and like the rules of the game that you can easily disconnect from the theme that you're supposed to be a part of. So I try to incorporate some things around the table, like plants and stuff like that, just to kind of get the vibe to be a little bit more in tune with what I'm doing. But also on top of that, I'm going to try to play my character going forward as a forager, as an artificer, as someone who can't pronounce words, to just like feel more immersed in the world. And also, as I'm doing things, I'm going to try to like thematically say what it is my character's doing. I'm not going to say I'm exhausting this to do this test. I'm going to say I'm traversing this, this location in order to find High Pimpot. Like, we're going to try to thematically involved. That's just I think the way that games like this are meant to be played. And I also think that that's how you get the most enjoyment out of it. So that's what I'm going to try to do going forward. Thank you so much for watching. It's great to be back on the channel doing a new video. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this, and we'll have more coming in the future. See you next time.